Hey guys, it's Kara from East to West Homeschool. If you're new to my channel, I have 5 children and they're in 5th grade, 4th grade, 2nd grade, and then I have a 4-year-old. Now today I'm talking about our together subjects. What that means is we are going to be doing these subjects together. So I will most likely include my older 3, which the curriculum is geared for 2nd through 8th grade, or I should say the main content of curriculum, because we'll be covering a few things today. But my kindergartner and preschooler will also join us when they want. I won't make it a pressure thing where they have to be with us, because they will have separate content. And if you want to check out my curriculum video for kindergarten, then you can see that. Also, if there's anything today that you see that you would like me to expand on, please let me know. Another thing to note about today's video is that the main content we're doing is My Father's World, Exploring Countries and Cultures. I actually received a used copy from a family member, and so it's kind of a generational curriculum now. And so some of my curriculum is not actually the current edition. Rather than explaining each individual piece and what's current and what's not, I actually put a little white sticker, kind of like a garage sale sticker or a rummage sale sticker, depending on what area of the country you live in. And so anyway, just be looking for those white stickers. The white stickers mean that those are the current editions that are still being sold with that package. I will link mfwbooks.com on the bottom, and you can actually go to their website and look up on your own what are the current issues and what are the changes, because some of the things, like say science, has actually changed since the old edition, but because that's what I have and it was affordable for me and I did not have to go buying a whole curriculum set, I am using older materials for some things. That does not bother me, but for someone just starting out or someone who needs to go buy it new, just to note that it will be a little different. 50% of what My Father's World sells, they actually donate to Bible translation. So the current edition is what you would get if you buy it new, and you're also supporting Bible translation. Anyway, used is what we're doing because that's what we were given, and I'm so thankful and excited to get into this curriculum. And now finally, here is the curriculum that you've been waiting for. My Father's World, the way they work a little bit is they have a family cycle, they call it. And so this is actually the first year in their cycle. We will be studying countries and cultures, as this says. We will actually start our first 4 weeks, I believe, covering U.S. history still and working on states and capitals, which I was hoping my kids would memorize last year, and we didn't quite get to it. So this year we will be doing about 4 to 5 weeks in. We will be starting different countries. This actually does start with an intro 2 weeks and then 2 weeks, I believe, in U.S. history. So it works out perfectly. They also, in this guide, it breaks things down week to week. It's pretty laid out. And so if I want to, I can just basically go down the days and the weeks and just kind of check the boxes if I want. It also has suggestions for things like language arts and other things. I am using some of their suggestions, such as for spelling, but then other things like language arts, I've picked my own. And so there is some flexibility in here. This is also a very hands-on curriculum, much more than I've been used to. There are student sheets that you buy separately. Now, because this is an older guide, the student sheets are actually printable in the back of this one. The new ones, you get those for you when you order the package. And so I still have to get my student sheets together, but they will be covering all kinds of different things as we go through. They will also do, say, a pretest of geography ahead of time, and then at the end of the year, we'll get to do our check at the end on how much geography we know after this year, which this will be new, covering different countries this year. For Bible, I'm actually going to start by using a freebie that I got through an online homeschool convention from Grapevine Studies called The Days of Creation. I think it will align really well with my kindergartners video. I'll link that above. Both will start with Days of Creation for the first week. I can't remember if this is 1 week or 2, but anyway, we'll start with that, and then we'll get into My Father's World Bible. With My Father's World for Bible, we have Hero Tales. I actually picked up 2 copies of this, so maybe my older 2 could read it at the same time. Then we will be doing Window on the World. which I'm super excited. It gets into different countries and cultures, and we will actually be praying for other countries and cultures while we are studying them. My father's world is pretty heavy on geography, and so there's quite a few different atlases that I have. The Illustrated World Atlas, Children's Atlas of God's World. I have the Hammond World Atlas that's missing its cover. I have just a Kids Road Atlas from Rand McNally. Then we have Maps and Globes, Geography from A to Z, a picture glossary, A Trip Around the World, Another Trip Around the World, World Geography, and then flag sticker books. I put a sticker here saying that this is the current edition. The funny thing is I just bought this from My Father's World this summer, but I already saw that they have updated and put a new one. Now, My Father's World helped me understand that they do update as things run out of stock or whatever. They will change things, and so that must have happened, but in any case, I think it's pretty close to this. But I picked up 3 for my older ones, and I think I have another 2 somewhere around here, so the little ones can do this if they would like to. I also picked up Usborne's Flags of the World to Color. This is kind of an ongoing thing in our homeschool. As we learn about different countries year to year, we'll add to this Flags of the World book. And so we'll use this year, but we'll use this beyond this year as well. For science, again, I have 2 copies of Wild Places by Usborne, and these books actually I picked up 2 and kept them because I figured my older 2 again could read them at the same time if they wanted to. Then I have the Usborne Living World Encyclopedia and the Great Animal Search. For art, we will be using Global Art. And the way that My Father's World does this, at least in the old edition of the teacher's guide that I have, is that we actually have some choice in which projects we do out of this. So it sometimes says like from this page to this page, pick 2 or pick 1 or whatever. And so this has been kind of fun to kind of pick and choose and then make sure I have the supplies for this for next year. Also, I added sewing school. I would like my kids to start learning some handcrafts, and I feel like sewing is a skill that everyone should learn, even boys. Funny story about that, when I was in high school, I had a high school professor who would pop his buttons when he was conducting, and he asked in my class, hey, would anyone like to get out of class to sew buttons on? Because he didn't know how to sew them on himself, and he was not married at the time. So I got pulled out of class, and I would sit and sew buttons on his suit jackets for him. So anyway, I think it's important for boys to learn, and I'm hoping to pick out some projects in here, as well as I tucked in one that I found in a magazine, and we'll do some sewing this year as well. Also with My Father's World this year is origami. I do not have the exact book, but I did have a couple other books that I came across, and so we'll have fun with this too. For music, we have We Sing Around the World, as well as my kids have the opportunity with our church to be a part of a Christmas program, and I do plan on teaching all of my children piano this fall, but that will be in their individual curriculum choice videos. For read alouds this year, I have Cameron Townsend, The Incredible Journey. These were a couple other suggested ones in the suggestion area in the teacher's guide. I don't know for sure if we'll do all 3 of these, the Incredible Journey plus these 2, but I figured I would have them just in case we decided to use them. Very Last First Time and Paddle to the Sea. Nate Saint, George Mueller. I also picked up this George Mueller Answers to Prayer. It's a Moody Classics, so I thought that might be interesting to kind of go along with this one. Amy Carmichael, Gladys Aylward. Now you may notice that a lot of these are very similar. These are actually missionary biographies, and they will go along with our countries that we're studying, so I'm super excited to get into this for the first time this year. And then we'll be doing Young Fu of the Upper Yangtze, or Yanks, however that's pronounced. Now, with language arts, we will also be doing Brave Writer. So I do have the Brave Writer arrow for that one. And so we'll be doing the arrow guide with Young Fu. For language arts, we'll be doing the Jot It Down Brave Writer program. I know that it's technically for younger ages, but I have adapted it for my older ones as well. And so the younger ones do actually do the Jot It Down, and the older they get, the more they'll be writing. Now, I have not fully decided which Jot It Down writing project we're going to do this year, but I'll narrow that down this summer when I do my summer planning. We just do that all together as our writing, and it's really fun to do that as a family. We also do Musical Mondays. Last year we did Musical Mondays as part of our Brave Writer lifestyle. And so I would like to incorporate more musicals. If you have a musical that you would recommend, the kids and I have already watched 12 this last year. I think we might have even watched 13. And so if you have any suggestions that would be family friendly, I'd really appreciate you writing so in the comments. I also picked up this curriculum called Flip Flop Spanish. It's vocabulary building, movie magic. It's Spanish, and I'm so excited about this. It uses a lot of Disney movies to work in Spanish vocabulary and teach kids Spanish. So I think we'll use this alongside of Jot It Down. This could be our Musical Mondays. Maybe we'll do this instead, or maybe we'll do 12 weeks of musicals and 12 weeks of this or something. I haven't decided how I'm going to incorporate it, but I got this for free from an online convention, and I decided this looks like a great, really fun program that I think goes along really well with Brave Writer stuff. In addition to this, we have not made the rest of our choices for Spanish this year. This may be all we do. We also have some CDs that we can learn from. I might end up buying the Flip Flop Learning calendar. I feel like that looks like a really fun way, but I just haven't narrowed down my decisions. And another thing I'm hoping to do for foreign language is also to do some ASL with my children. I learned American Sign Language in high school a little bit, and I feel like it's important for my kids to know basic sign language. Also, I forgot to mention that there are 2 more read alouds that I have not received yet. One is called Snow Treasure, and we'll be reading that with My Father's World, as well as Mr. Popper's Penguins. And I do actually have an arrow for Mr. Popper's Penguins too. The other aspect of Brave Writer that we do is we love poetry tea time. So I've just picked up a funny poetry book called The New Kid on the Block. And I also have this book on poetry. I know that when we study the Japan unit in My Father's World, that will cover haiku. So we may only use this for haiku this year, and maybe use it for a different year to learn a different genre of poetry. But in any case, this is a really nice, simple and fun, and it's got a CD, and it kind of explains the different types of poetry. So we might incorporate that in our poetry tea time as well this year. My kids also really love Mad Libs, and so I picked this up this year. It's a fairly thick one, and my kids are super excited to get into it, but I told them they had to wait till the next school year starts. Some other books that are recommended by My Father's World are Celebrations, Children Just Like Me, which is festivals, carnivals, and feast days from around the world. Children Just Like Me, a unique celebration of children around the world. The Complete Book of Animals will be a nice addition to our science. And then these are just some suggested books. Yeah, sorry, the cover is all torn up. But anyway, The 100 Dresses, Madeline. This one I found that related to one of the countries we'll be studying. The Turtle and the Island, a folktale from Papua New Guinea. And then The Rainbow Garden was another suggested one as a possible read aloud. A few final things are Around the World Art and Activities. This is just an extra book, which I thought might be fun to intermix with other things, as well as the Usborne Internet-Linked Children's World Cookbook. My kids started learning how to cook this last year, and I hate cooking, so I would love for them to learn more and more, and they seem to really enjoy it. So the Usborne Start to Cookbook has been really helpful.
And we probably won't use this like weekly or daily. We'll just throw it in whenever we feel like it. And then finally, for health, we are doing Health for Life. This is an old Scott Forsman book. We started it this year, but health is not required in my state, and so this is just kind of an added book. And it's just basic, talking about all kinds of different things. We also have flashcards. We use the Usborne famous artist flashcards, as well as I have ones on Black history, I have ones on trees, and just other fun facts that my kids will be memorizing. One last thing to just briefly show you is that I also picked up these big posters on the different continents, and I plan on hanging them around our homeschool area.
I hope that you enjoyed our curriculum video today of our Together subjects, including the core of My Father's World and other materials. We have such fun things coming up, and yes, it sounds like a lot. I just want you to also know that I am a planner, and I tend to plan more than we actually do. Throughout the year, I'm sure it will unfold what we use every day in our school and what we use only occasionally. But I'm super excited to do this with my children this year. I think it'll be a great selection of curriculum, and I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did enjoy this, consider subscribing for future videos. Thank you so much, friends. Bye.